Okay, I think that might have done it. What a cracking intro. I'm just going to wait until I hear the audio come through on YouTube. Okay, I think. Okay. All right. That did it. Post that in that Discord there. Not the smoothest introduction to the GLFFL weekly pre-wind ever, but I didn't have to stop recording. It's going to have a couple minutes of silence to open, and that's just how things roll here at the GLFFL headquarters. We just do it by the skin of our teeth. What do we do here in this show? I look at the results first. Week 7. Okay, I didn't do a show last year. I'm not going to go back to week 6 and recap. It's been a busy time here in the Sandovich household, so you guys are lucky you're getting a week 8 pre-wind. We're closing on a house. We're getting ready to travel, and I just knew my fans couldn't go another week without a pre-wind, so here I am. But anyways, week 7, new and improved Jungle Humpers rebound with a win over Cooter's Crew. Not the highest scoring outing, but they now are both sitting at 5-2. Cooter's Crew has the tiebreaker due to points. And some more to say a little bit later when we get to the pregrets. Ditka in a box surviving Drunk Santa, who behind Lamar Jackson almost had a furious Monday night comeback, but it fell just short. Ditka in a box. They continue their streak. They stay in the playoff hunt, 3-4. Doobie Ashtray. They traded away AJ Brown. They are waving the white flag on the season, and you know what? I don't blame him. I commend him for going out and setting himself up for success in the future. Patty Cakes gets another low-scoring win. They are now 4-3. They are the anti-Timken Terrors. We'll get to them in a moment. Robo Pearson, first win of the season in a stunner over the Schmidt Show. Some bad luck by the Schmidt Show. They had about half their team go down to illness and or death. So RIP to most of their depth. They are not out of it, but they are in a bit of a free fall. More on them later as well. And then high score of the week. Third high score of the year, Lifeline's Elway. Timken Terrors, they would have beaten a couple of the winners this week, but they get a very Timken Terrors loss with a solid performance, falling to the high score of the week. And that takes us to our pregrets. I said there was going to be a lot of pregrets this week. If you hear your name, come up and get your pregret trophy because you're a running back. And your name is Najee Harris for Drunk Santa, sitting on the bench while they failed him out to come back against Ditka. Najee Harris would have helped Tank Bigsby for Cooter's Crew. Would have sent him to 6-1 had he started Tank Bigsby. And last and least, Devin Singletary. And I chose Devin Singletary for Schmidt Show because he only scored 2.6 points, but that would have been enough had he subbed him in for Debo Samuel, who scored 0 points. That would have been enough to get Schmidt Show the victory over the previously defeated Robo Pearson. Nonetheless, he is a pregret. Probably the only pregret of the year for Devin Singletary, for being honest. Let's take a look at the standings. Cooter's Crew stays put in second place despite the loss because of their previous scoring outputs on the season. New and improved Jungle Humpers, third place. The top 3 are looking pretty stable at this point, and then it is just a mess there in the middle. Drunk Santa, 4-3 in fourth place. Patty Cakes also 4-3 in fifth place, despite having scored nearly 200 points fewer than the sixth place Timken Terrors. Hopefully they can get some wins in the back half of the season and not turn out like the 2023 Timken Terrors. 7th place, Ditka in a Box. They are coming back strong after a slow start to the season. 8th place, the Schmidt Show. They are now at 4 straight losses after starting 3-0, so they desperately need to bounce back. That's not going to help that they're losing wide receivers left and right. But that's just fantasy football sometimes. 9th place, Robo Pearson. Nothing to say about them. Doobie Ashtray, 0-7. I think 9th and 10th place are pretty much set at this point. But let's take a look at this next week's matchups. No, that's not what we do next. I'm getting ahead of myself. The next thing we do is my oh shit stat of the week. Had a little bit of fun with this one. But my oh shit stat of the week. I'm just realizing this is probably on the wrong screen, which is why it has not moved. What screen is this on? Oh, gosh. I think something went wrong with my OBS since the last time I used it, which is probably why the audio wasn't working. Okay, let me add a source here. Browser. Create new. No, that's not what we want to do. We want to get rid of that. You guys are seeing how the bread is buttered. A little behind the scenes here. What the fuck happened? Oh, fuck it. You know what? I'll just use your imagination. I'm going to look at this next week's lineups and I'll just talk about them. And you guys can imagine they're on screen. So, whatever. Oh shit stat of the week. Russell Wilson, in his debut for the Pittsburgh Steelers, scored 24.86 points. Pretty impressive debut, to be honest. Well, listen to this shit. Patrick Mahomes has not scored 24.86 or more fantasy points in a game since week 7 of 2023. So 1 game under his belt for Russell Wilson, outscored Pat Mahomes in any of his single games for a year, an entire year since he's put up that. And you know what? I think the Chiefs don't really care considering they just keep winning, but that was pretty insane when I saw that. And Pat Mahomes, back-to-back first or second round draft pick. Talk about a fantasy football bust. Okay, we'll preview the matchups, and then we'll go to our last segment. It's rivalry week, according to Yahoo. I don't know what distinction it gives, but I'll just make up a rivalry reason for each of these matchups. Life finds Elway, Timken Terrors with an instant revenge game, as I had explained last year. When I was making the schedule, it's impossible to not have at least one occasion in which teams play in back-to-back weeks due to the configuration of our schedule based on the divisions. But I guess this is a rivalry because it's the 2 longest tenured teams in the league. So Timken Terrors, they may score a lot of points and lose, or they may score a lot of points and finally win and get revenge on last week. Cooter's Crew, Doobie Ashtray, 2nd place versus 10th place. Doobie Ashtray, big underdog here. This should be a layup for Cooter's Crew, but it is fantasy football, and dreams do come true. Dick in a Box, new and improved Jungle Humpers, longtime friends. Might as well make them fantasy football rivals. Dick in a Box needs to stay hot to stay in the playoff hunt. Has a tall task ahead of him with new and improved Jungle Humpers. Robo Pearson, Drunk Santa. Another occasion where there should be an easier matchup for Drunk Santa. Not quite as easy as the 10th versus second place, but he needs to get it done. Otherwise, what is he even doing here? Patty Cakes versus the Schmidt Show. This is a good place to reintroduce the return of a very specific segment called the Macho Matchup of the Week. Oh yeah, let me tell you something, brother. You want to talk about a matchup that's going to shake the foundations of the fantasy football universe? Look no further. The Schmidt Show started 3-0. They were flying high, cruising like a rocket through the stars. But now, they've hit some turbulence, yeah. 4 straight L's. And all of a sudden, they're on the outside looking in. Oh, yeah. They need a win. Boy, do they need a win. Like a beast needs blood. A ravenous hunger for victory that'll tear you apart if you don't feed it. Oh, yeah. But on the other side, you got Patty Cake sitting there at 4-3. Oh, they might be winning, but let me tell you something. They've been dancing on the edge of the cliff, yeah. Second lowest scoring team in the league, but still finding ways to win. How do they do it? Some call it luck, some call it fate. But the Macho Man, he calls it survival. You dig? Brees Hall picking up speed like a locomotive, and Baker Mayfield fighting like a scrapper in a bare-knuckle alley fight. Oh, yeah. The Schmidt Show, you got firepower, brother. You got Saquon the Beast ready to break loose, and Amon-Ra St. Brown patrolling the skies like the sun god. But 4 straight losses? That's like a black cloud hanging over you. And if you shake it off, the playoffs just... If you don't shake it off, the playoffs will be just a wet dream. Slipping through your fingers, oh yeah. This ain't no time to get comfortable, no, because you're walking a tightrope and one slip could send you tumbling down. This week's everything's the difference between fighting for the top spot and slipping into irrelevance like a grain of sand in the Sahara Desert. It's more than just a game, it's a statement, yeah. For the Schmidt Show, it's time to break the streak and break through like the Kool-Aid Man and let them know you're not done yet. Oh, yeah. And for Patty Cakes, it's about proving you ain't just riding on luck, but that you're a true contender. Both of you are fighting for something bigger than just a win in the win column. You're fighting for the right to keep your season alive, to keep your dreams... to keep your dreams intact and make the playoffs where anything can happen. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Only one of you can step into that ring and walk out with the victory. And when that final bell rings, it'll be one team standing tall while the other is wondering, what happened? This is where champions are made. Brother, in this week, we're going to find out who's got the guts, who's got the glory, who's got the grit to make it happen. Macho Man, out.